Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time from Dennis. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video. This is for something called Vergo, which is a YouTube film. What I mean by that is, a group of people, younger kids, got together. They made this kind of unfriended lot of usage of StreamYard and made a lengthy film. It's like an hour and 50 minutes. And it's hard for me to get that mad about something that's all, it's a group of people. They made something. It's not from a studio. Doesn't have, just experimenting. It's kind of hard for me to get that mad or judgmental about it. But at the same time, I've liked quite a bit of found footage type of films. I've liked quite a bit of even films deal with Skype or stuff. That I did like the first Unfriended. I love Searching, which is more of a drama with John Cho. But those are more, studio movies. They may be low independent, but I mean, these are a group of kids younger than me having fun on YouTube. And then like found footage I enjoyed. The Tunnel, I enjoyed As Above So Below. I enjoyed the original Blair Witch Project. But yeah, this is, even all that I'm saying, there's still adults or older people. Yeah, there's a group of kids. But I commend them for doing it. I do commend them for doing it because it's more than I've done. It's just I've seen, even for YouTube, I've seen other people do stuff like this personally. One was Spiral Drive. Two guys made this little thing for YouTube. Spiral Drive is like 58 minutes long. I enjoyed that. It was two guys. I mean, the acting wasn't the best and most smooth, to be fair, but again, it's YouTube. I'm lenient on it. But it was kind of a fun story where they're going to Hollywood. The guy put cameras around the car. Uh, the guy thinks he's going to get a job at Hollywood. He's trying to get his friend to rehearse the script, maybe even film something on the way there, do like an editing promo reel for his upcoming job, and then they get into some strange circumstances, and it has some pretty interesting ideas, and not too bad of an ending, positive ending, which is rare for that kind of format. So Spiral Drive I did like. But sorry, getting to this, at least there's a bit of ambition, but there's some glaring issues for me personally. Uh, it starts out with a guy in a mask asking the viewer, telling about he did join this religion and it's not a cult, but thankfully he's got health benefits, so there's that. So we might be religion, not a cult, but we do have health benefits, so that's cool. That's always good to know. If you're out there cutting hearts out, or if you're out there controlling people to suicide, at least you get some health benefits in it. But you just see the guy in the mask is talking. He kills himself on camera. It looks like a toy. It literally looks like a toy. It's like the gun's like pink. It looks like a Nerf gun or something. And I mean, there are BB guns, just don't have the BBs in it, that look realistic. Again, this is like a little, either Nerf gun or one of those guns, but it looked pink or orange or something. It looked like it was ready to have one of those suction. And then when blood hit the screen, and then the guy's down on the couch, and then I swear he moves his ass to try to fall off camera. Just like he shoots himself. And then he does this. Like he's moving his ass. And I'm like, what is going on here? Is he not dead? Is he pretend to be dead? Or So then you cut to these 5 kids, fairly young kids on StreamYard. And one of the biggest issues with the film is too long. I appreciate the ambition, but an hour and 50 minutes is a lot to ask for the viewer. There's a reason why a lot of even bigger budget films, they're like an hour and 20, maybe an hour and 30. When you're pushing an hour and 50 minutes, you're really pushing the patience of an audience. And again, it's easy to be, okay, yes, this is not professional. It's not supposed to be professional. It's just people having fun. And just again, someone, they asked me to review it. I'm not just gonna, I'm not gonna really dog it. It's for the shits and giggles. There's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. Something to do with your time that actually amounts to something. I congratulate the kids who did this. It's just for these issues. Again, I think it's editing you could do with it. 30, 40 minutes it feels. It's just kind of random conversation with these 5 kids talking about 11 years old, 13 years old maybe a little bit older, to be fair, a little bit older, 14, 15, under 18. They're little kids, and they're like, one's complaining, don't curse, my mom can swear. My mom can hear you swear. And I'm like, just wear headphones then. If you're worried that the person's swearing, just put headphones. And then problem solved. Or they talk about PewDiePie. It just seemed like random conversations with no flow and no goal. It was just kind of, we're talking about PewDiePie, then we're talking about, have you seen the new Halloween film? Or how do you feel about Halloween 2018? Or this, and how you feel about, I don't know, it kind of just went all over the place. And for me, the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues, okay, if I do top 3, the length, hour and 50 minutes. The ending is confusing. I didn't know what was going on the last 30 minutes. I didn't know what the point of it was, which I'll get to. And there's this clicking sound that kept happening with the audio. And even the people within the film hear it. And it's one of the 5 people on StreamYard. This... And I'm sitting there going, this is unlistenable. This is like unlistenable audio. And some of them even admit, hey, I think it was, there were 5 kids, Ryan, John, Malik, James, and Simon. I think it was Simon that had the bad audio. And it was just really terrible. I mean, it got to a point that I could not understand what some of the audio was being said, especially if you're watching headphones. This clicking sound, it just ruins a lot of it. Just ruins a lot of the film that you're making, because it's like a litmus test. It's like a type of water torture. You know, the water torture, you have to drop and you keep doing this. Imagine if I did the whole video, but it was an hour and 50 minutes and you heard this. I did it. In the background. While I'm talking. And I hate to say it, but if that's the case, number one, it wasn't used for any plot device. I thought, okay, is this going to be a supernatural thing? And, oh, when this noise happens, it's very annoying. But that's when the paranormal thing occurs. It's this clicking sound having some effect, some residual effect, some interference. No, none of that comes into play. And if it's to have your buddy Simon, then either he needed to get better audio, and I'm not one to talk, but I'm not making a movie for an hour and 50 minutes. And this audio might not be great, but it's not hearing about it. Or you don't have to go like, okay, it's used to four of us instead of the fifth guy. At the end, it just got this, especially for that long, it just gets to a point people are just going to be like, I don't want to listen anymore. Because it could give people a headache, a constant headache. And then again, mix that with almost like 30 minutes of conversation that just seems random and not really going anywhere. It hurts it. Finally, a story starts appearing where it seems like the leader, Ryan, which I read, I don't know why it wouldn't be true, but if maybe I read it incorrectly is what I meant. If so, that's too bad. It's too bad that he passed away. If that's the case, he passed away. That's too young. Too young. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the deal is, but he says that he at one point saw this guy in a robe. And I did. Sometimes I couldn't understand because the bad audio quality, not just that clicking sound, but some of them, the audio was kind of going in and out. Because it's StreamYard, and some of them didn't have like the best audio or microphones. And the kids, Ryan was kind of the star of it. This little kid, John, who seemed like the youngest, he didn't really say anything, do anything. He's the first to go. Malik, pretty much the gist with him is he's the one who said, "Don't curse, my mom's around." And he had a little brother there. I didn't mind this one kid, James, with the glasses. I said, I guess if there was one I liked the most, I thought James with the glasses. He wasn't too bad. He wasn't too bad. He was all right. And Simon, it's all of his stuff is with that audio with the sound. And yeah, I don't know if they didn't notice that, if they just went with it and said, "Oh, people won't." But yeah, people will think about it because again, it's like almost 2 hours long. Which again, that's a lot for an audience for any type of found footage or this type of stuff. Again, usually like hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes for that reason. Not every single, but I do think there's editing. Again, if that audio was fixed, I think it would be an experience. And then randomly, well, no, they hear that another friend of theirs had died. And they overhear and read either it was suicide, but there can't be suicide because this other thing happens. And as soon as they say it, the one spoiler alert for those who want to see it, it's on YouTube. Vergo, Vergo. Just type in Virgo or Virgo 2021. You can check it out for yourself. It is done in the style of Unfriended, and that's the little kid then kills himself. Like and they're like, "What's going on? Is it a prank? What's happening here?" I don't know why they didn't try to call him or his family at least, like his parents. I don't think they mention like calling the police, and they do, but I'm like, why don't someone just leave and go to his house? For something that important and they're in the same town, or literally pick up the phone and call the police. Well, they did call the police. I meant to call the kid's parents. Unless they don't know the parent's cell phone number. I keep thinking of home phone number, and that's not really much of a thing nowadays. So maybe that's why. But I mean, are you close enough to not try to look and see? I don't know. There's so many times, like a lot of these type of films, you're going, why don't you just shut the camera off and leave? So many times, and that's another reason why these films can't be so long, because then even from the get-go, you know there's going to be a lot of suspension of disbelief with this type of format. You can find out almost any of this type of film, like why don't they shut the camera off? Why don't they leave the camera? Unfriended, despite its flaws, it did kind of say, if you shut off the computer, you'll die. And then it kind of shows someone doing that, so there's that fear. That wasn't really the case here. There wasn't like some other figure that said, if you do this, you'll die. That doesn't really come into play, so again, you're going, why don't they just shut the camera off? Why don't they just shut the computer off? Why don't they just leave, hightail it out of there, run to a cop, run to a parent, run to a neighbor, run to the other person? I mean, for a good chunk of it, you're like, why are you still staring at the camera? Like, later on, the little kid, James, he thinks he sees something in his closet. And he's like picking up his laptop or whatever he had, the camera, he's looking around. I'm like, just drop the shit and go. Leave the house. Right then. If I look over and I think something's in my closet, well, number one, I'm going to get something and probably try to hit it. Or, I'm like, you know what? The hero is just a sandwich. I'm getting the fuck out and I hightail it and find someone else. I'm not staying there with the webcam on. Something in the closet? I mean, so that's the thing. That's when you make a film, it's just the suspension of disbelief. Then they look at some videos. They see one video that might have had gunshot sounds, but I could not hear gunshot sounds. They say they hear gunshot sounds. I couldn't hear it, and I had my headphones on. I don't know if it's because the Simon kids that disguise that, but I could barely hear gunshot sounds. I couldn't hear them. And I could tell when they did edits, about 50 some minutes as they're going, you tell a little bit of a fade. Just like one's over here, and then there's like a fade, and all of a sudden his face is over here. So I think that was, they did the best they could, you know. But I go, oh yeah, that's about 54 minutes in. That's when they did an edit. I guess some. That's also the explanation as to what's going on isn't really the most clear. There's not a lot of something called Virgo, and they try to do a little bit of it, but at the same time, there's not a lot that depth as to the shenanigans going on. Something that will possess you, and so, in the spoilers, Malik guy is possessed and kills his brother. James, again, I didn't mind out of all of them. Someone's in my closet. I'm like, just leave then. I guess he breaks his neck, but the thing is, when he lands, he's supposed to be dead. But then you see his eye move. And you see some movement. I think the movement was to shut the webcam off. Or the camera off. But he's supposed to be... Okay, imagine you're dead like this. Actually, it's not the... Okay, imagine my face like this. It's not like this, but it's like... you can tell. Because when your face is that close to the camera, you either gotta be absolutely still, dead, plain dead. Like, if I do this, if I fucked up, okay, I do another take, I go, like, you know. or something. I mean, again, I'd be fucking up too, so I'm not one to talk. But again, it's like, okay, but it's probably it's so long in between. It's like, well, just go with it. But okay, there's a little mistake. Do you keep going or not? That's up to just the director, however you want to put it. But yeah, it's meant for fun. But that's the thing. Like, this is not meant to charge people money. It's not your street. It's on YouTube for free because group of people got in and want to make something fun. That's what I mean. I'm not being that angry, mad about it either. I just I've had a couple people send in paid requests to review their film. I'm guessing they want. I don't know if they just want praise or they just want critiques. I don't know. Because if I do critiques, I feel like an asshole. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I better be honest. Like, did I enjoy it? Not really. Were there issues I have? Yeah. Like the ones I'm saying. So again, the one guy killed his brother, and his eyes were, they made try to look like he's bleeding. The one kid just broke his neck. This, kind of like that. It's just Simon, the shitty audio, and Ryan, the lead. And the last 30 minutes or so, I didn't understand. I didn't understand at all. Well, not at all, but it was... I guess Ryan knew that the friend who died, there was something more to him, so Ryan had killed him. And then... But then I guess that friend was into some dark shit, and then Ryan's like, no, don't go for him, come for me. That didn't, I guess, work. And then it stops being a StreamYard unfriended footage. Now it's just a film. Now it's just a film. And it seems like Ryan's dead, but then he gets up and he goes into his room. And then I forgot, I think he had some gun and he shot like 14 gunshots. And it's very epileptic. If you have epilepsy, you cannot see this or you will die. I mean, even got to me, all the flashing lights. It was kind of just a bunch of random stuff for like the last 20, 30 minutes. Ryan kind of looking around. He wanders around his house. A lot of flash, blinking lights. Over here, there's blinking lights. And was that supposed to be his own personal hell? Was he possessed and this was in his mind? Was he going out without us knowing and killing other people? Was the Simon guy even dead? His buddy dead or not? Or was he possessed? If you can explain the last 30 minutes, good on you, because I could not. As supposed to be, it's like, I don't get what's going on. It's kind of trying to be trippy for trip's sake. And it's, again, there wasn't really anything before to delve people into that. No hints or clues that I noticed. Maybe there were. Like, yeah, does this thing possess you and enter your brain to its own hell? Is he dead and this is his hell to repeat the same or similar or other? Is he in purgatory? Is he in a loop? I don't know. I really don't know. It just, again, kind of went, here's a scene trying to be trippy, changing the colors here, up close face with like blood on it, changing the light, blinking lights here, strobe lights there. It just, a bunch of randomness with seemingly no purpose, at least to me. And again, it's just, an hour and 50 minutes just felt too long. Typical ending where everyone is dead. So it's nothing really that unique or new. I did going back to Spiral Drive. Like, Spiral Drive is more my cup of tea. It's like, okay, less than an hour long. They used the little resources. I thought they crafted a little bit more interesting mystery. with they get to a place and then the limited resources, they have a creature in there, and it's a electrical type of creature, like force, which seemed interesting, and the ending was a bit different. It's a bit try to be a bit funny as well, so it's trying to be a little bit of a comedic. Again, it's acting's not, like I said, smooth, but it's for free YouTube. Just people I find like Spiral Drive is more my cup of tea. This one maybe was trying to be ambitious, but like I said, too. I think there's some editing that could be done. The Simon, the sound effect, throughout the entire film ruined a lot of it. Because if there was a poor dialogue, I couldn't hear it. I lost focus trying to pay attention because this noise kept putting me out. I kept wanting to take off my headphones or just pause it for a bit or lower the volume down. The the story is confusing to me, especially the last 30 minutes. There's not a lot about Virgo. I mean, the beginning, the mask, and religion. I don't even know who that guy was with the mask. Maybe they did say it. I just don't remember. So I just... Sorry to the Dennis, but I wish you luck on it. And again, if this was a studio movie that cost 5, 10, 50, 5 to 10 to 50 million, I'd be more harsh. But no, I'm not going to be harsh. I mean, hey, you did something, I commend it. Just more than I ever did. I just... on any future. If the Ryan guy passed away, I'm very sorry to hear that. Uh, Again, the guy who sent me this request was Dennis. And then in the end credits, I saw a Dennis who is a director. So I don't know if that's one of the kids and they changed their name, or if that's someone else, an outsider, and I don't know the details. I think the making of would be interesting on this. The making of it. So yeah, I wish you luck on endeavors. Sorry that wasn't my cup of tea. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.